What's up, everybody? It's Team GeekWire at Las Vegas International Airport. Our CES excursion is coming to an end.
Taylor, you seem really highly motivated and energetic here. And it also looks like you haven't combed your hair in like 5 days.
Than it was before.
Yeah.
Let me take that from you.
Yeah, man. Let's get a little more high energy here.
Okay.
Exciting. I mean, we just finished up CES 2017.
So it was our final day on the show floor today. Let's talk about some of the celebrities that you saw today or over the course of CES. Who'd you see?
Today, I personally saw Michael Phelps, the Olympian swimmer, and Ariana Huffington. They both were at the Under Armour CEO's keynote talk. Ariana Huffington talking about sleep, the importance of sleep and sleep technologies.
Which is a good thing for this group.
Yeah,
at this
which
point
is what we really need.
CES.
And Michael Phelps was talking about, he must be a spokesman for him because he was touting all their services. The Under Armour session was kind of like a big ad for them. So those are the two I saw. Who else? Anyone else? Anybody interesting?
I saw NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. He's not a celebrity. I don't know why I just said that.
He's a freaking NHL commissioner. What are you talking about?
That's big time.
Yeah, he's a leader. The NASCAR CEO, who's big time. But I also saw Landon Donovan, former now U.S. men's soccer legend.
Finally retired,
but he had actually a lot of good things to say about data and analytics and using that in soccer and sports and the debate over that. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I saw the CEOs of Intel and Ford. And I got to interview the CEO of Ford very briefly.
That's cool.
So,
Monica, how about you?
I didn't see any celebrities, but I did see some stars. I got to try out my first virtual reality porn experience today, which was very exciting because it's something I've covered a little bit, but I haven't actually, gotten in there.
So wait, you went to the Naughty America booth.
I did. So Naughty America was actually, I think, the only adult content producer that was exhibiting today at CES. And they were kind of tucked away in this secret room. You had to know where to go because CES has some strict guidelines about adult content. But went over there, ventured in, did the demo, and it was pretty bizarre.
Tell us more.
Well, I mean, you can definitely see why there's a market for this. It's very visceral. You really feel like you're immersed in this experience. But it was kind of weird for me because they were only showing male point of view fit films. So, when I looked down, it was a male body that I saw. Not a sight I'm used to seeing, but
very odd.
Yeah,
well, it is CES, where it's probably like 85% male.
Right. Like they probably weren't expecting a lot of 25-year-old women to come in there. Like, what you got?
So, final thoughts on CES overall after spending 4 days here at CES 2017?
I have some opinions on that. I think you can come here every 3 years. And that is about the right amount to be refreshed on the tech industry.
I will say,
although
last year.
Alexa was pretty big this year, and that was interesting with AI and voice assistants. But all the automotive stuff, I mean, that was rinsed and repeat from last year. That could have been 2016 CES.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
I mean, there was a lot of self-driving, autonomy. I mean, that was a conversation last year, but I think it had advanced this year by some big steps.
I disagree. I don't know. I don't see it advancing that much in 12 months. It seemed like the same demos and chatter they were saying last year.
Right. I mean, it's a good debate to have.
Yes.
Should you come to this every year? Should you come to this at all? I mean, it's changed a lot since 10 years or 20 years ago. But I think there is still some value to actually being on the show floor, interacting with the different people, seeing the celebrities, being there to see some random thing that we wrote about. I don't know. It's good to be there.
It is good to be there. I guess my point is more that it's the technology cycle isn't 12 months. It's probably 24 months or 36 months in terms of like really something fresh and interesting and new.
That makes sense,
And so that's why I'm thinking like there was a lot of stuff that was just a repeat from last year.
So I skipped last year. I was here 2 years ago, and I actually, for me, there was a lot of new stuff. The drones
I think that's the right way to do it.
The drones were new. A lot of I spent yesterday walking through Eureka Park in preparation for a panel that I was on today, and that's the startup zone. And it was awesome. There was so much cool stuff from these startups.
I found it hard to get through. It was packed.
It was packed.
It was so packed. I couldn't even really navigate
like
that.
Robot window washers, robot frozen yogurt dispensers. I mean, there was all sorts of really, really interesting stuff. The other really cool stuff that I saw was glassless or goggleless VR and AR, all these systems like...
How does that work?
So like one of them was a spinning propeller that spun so fast you couldn't see the propeller, but then it had LEDs all on it, so the LEDs created through software this illusion of something floating in the air.
Oh, was that the thing with Mark Cuban? Was that the demo
No.
that they had Mark Cuban's image projected?
Yes, that was.
I
yes.
saw that today. Yeah.
So and there was also the co-founder of IMDb. He has a new startup where it's kind of like a desktop projector that puts 3D images in front of you, and it's sort of a trick of the eye. So that was some interesting stuff for me, having not been here last year. So that's
Really interesting.
yeah.
So what's coming up into this year that you're most excited about after going to CES? Drones?
The kid technology. I really liked a lot of the kid technology. John, you wrote a post about a Fisher-Price bicycle that I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's basically a stationary bike that allows your kid to pedal and have screen time at the same time.
Yeah.
Which there's a great debate on whether that's a good thing or not.
You
But
could just ride a bike, right?
they could just be out riding their bike.
Yes, and then of course, in a very similar way, I think I mentioned this before, but it's the Mattel Echo-like device where it makes your kids say please, otherwise it doesn't respond. And so it's sort of like there was that trend this year of devices that replaced the normal functions of a parent.
Making it real easy.
How about you? What was the coolest thing that the rest of you saw?
Jeez, I don't know.
And come on, in the sports realm, you must have seen some cool stuff.
There was some cool stuff in the sports world, but it was a lot of, to your point, a lot of what we saw last year. So there were a lot of wearables again, but this year I think what's changing is the wearables are getting smarter, and they know more about your body, and they can sense more, and they're not just tracking steps and heartbeats, but now acceleration and the way you're bending. So I think wearables might be coming to the mainstream really in a big way this year.
That's interesting because I sat in on a panel. It was all about investing in sports tech, and actually Joe Montana was another celeb that we saw today, the famous quarterback who was on the panel, who actually has a venture firm and does some seed investing now. And one of the other venture capitalists on that panel was saying that is one sector he is definitely staying away from. Consumer wearables.
Oh,
he thinks it's totally saturated. It's really hard for any of those to get traction. But it was just interesting because they're everywhere. I mean, there's so many of them. It's to his point. It's like you can't really carve out any space in that territory anymore.
Yeah.
One of my, back to the kids example, one of my favorite ones was a very simple watch for kids that allowed the parents to send icon reminders to them, young kids, like when to take out the trash and that kind of thing. It like automatically sets on the phone and shows up on their device. Yeah. So, but to your point, like there's this flood of wearables.
Yeah.
You got to explain your hat.
Oh yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the treasure truck was
Yes.
in. Everybody in Seattle knows Amazon Treasure Truck.
Yeah,
where
and,
you
but-
can.
and now Vegas knows.
And now
it.
Vegas knows about it. Yeah, I stumbled across the treasure truck in the Central Plaza area of the convention center this week, and it was just kind of funny because people around here don't really know what the treasure truck is. But in my story, I mentioned the fact that they brought the treasure truck here from Seattle. I think signals that they're testing or getting ready to take that concept more national. They wouldn't bring it here or put
Right.
that on the center
Right.
stage in the middle of the Central Plaza unless they had bigger ambitions for the concept. So my 2017 prediction coming out of CES is more treasure trucks
Around
across the country,
across
which
the country.
people are going to be so excited about. I think that's about it. I think
Yeah.
it was a good show. I don't think, as you mentioned, Todd, we were talking about this earlier. I don't think there was a big, star-studded keynote or panel.
Right, there was
not
the
a big
keynotes
brand
lost-
recognition. Yeah,
In years past, for example, they would have Bill Gates, Larry Page,
yeah. Even
Marissa
Reed
Meyer.
Hastings last year.
Yeah, there wasn't like a star power celebrity CEO giving a big keynote.
Not really.
And so
the
that's- it
CEO of
suffered for
Under
that.
Armour I saw today, and
See, but I don't even know his name.
yeah.
What's
Yeah,
his name?
Is it Eric Plank? Kevin Plank. Kevin
yeah,
Plank.
see,
yeah,
exactly.
That company's pretty interesting.
It
but,
is interesting,
but
but
yeah,
it's
still
not- but it's
not a
not-
big
yeah.
brand name CEO.
Yeah.
So maybe next year, step up their game.
All
So I
right.
just want to go 3 years from now.
Yes, I
Yeah.
might not be coming back.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Oh no, you're in. You're in.
No,
it.
okay.
You're
Would
in
you
it.
come back? This is a good
Yeah,
question,
that
Monica.
is-
You have your first time experience here. Is it something that you would like to come back to?
It's kind of a loaded question coming from my two.
No, I mean honestly, like, I mean, did you think it was valuable?
Yeah.
Did you like
We
it?
won't hold it against you.
Yeah.
I think there were certain aspects of it that were certainly valuable and interesting, and I'm glad to have experienced. But as a whole, I don't know if that outweighed the challenges, the schlep, the crowds, the plague.
You didn't even get the plague, so what are you complaining about?
I think
Not
she
yet.
might have it. I think she might have it. All right.
All right.
All right, that's a wrap from CES 2017, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We actually will have more stories posting in the coming days on GeekWire. Our notebooks and video recorders are full. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. See you in Seattle.